Just kidding. We're not going to do that again. Hey guys, how's it
Wow.
going? Nah, troll.
I was like, it's going again. Like, Joe, you watching?
Joe. Hey everybody, and welcome, 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 welcome. Love to see people. Love to see people.
The
Tab
weird
Solutions,
desert.
guys. We're here to talk about building customer loyalty in a digital world.
You know, it's interesting with this topic because there's so many posts on a daily basis talking about artificial intelligence, AI generative material, and of course, all these different tools. And Joe, you and I reflect all the time. It's like I was just having an issue with Mailchimp. It's funny because I've been posting online about the debacle with Mailchimp, and a lot of times, whenever you're seeing some of the customer service, or in this case support, you just want a human being to talk to for 5 minutes and say, hey, here's my issue, can you help me? And there needs to be a time and place whenever you have canned responses, but this person or whatever it was, I don't think they got the cue, so they were hammering me with canned responses. And really, to be honest with you, it was very close for them to lose us as a customer.
Yeah, it's not surprising. I mean, yeah, I see it all the time now, especially when we're not really we're keeping it more I want to say bot like, but it definitely feels pretty bot like with a lot of people. Just this is the appropriate response, and that's the only way we're going to do it. And guys, I don't know about you, anybody in the chat or anybody who's going to join us later. I'm pretty sure you guys have really appreciated it when someone's put in time and effort necessary to really kind of address your concern in a meaningful way, and not just a this is the this is the safe way, if you will.
Right, right. So I know normally we try to wait a little longer since we were broadcasting through a variety of different streams. Today we got Instagram, we have Twitch, we got YouTube, we got LinkedIn, we got Facebook, and StreamYard. I know we've been talking
Yeah.
about TikTok, and I know they got their own requirements. But what we wanted to start doing is we wanted to start talking about different topics for those of you that have a small business, and really start doing a lot of engagement with y'all and helping, at least providing some information and insightful information on what we think you should be doing for some best practices. And of course, love to hear back from you guys as well. Right, Joe?
Absolutely, and I think that that's really the key for us is just making sure that not only are we talking the talk and walking the walk when it comes to customer engagement, and more importantly, guys, seeing all you beautiful people all at once. I think again, dude, we've got like you said. I want to make sure everybody understands. We've got six, I think, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven different platforms being streamed to at the same time. And the only reason we're not streaming to Twitter right now is, you guessed it, Twitter wants money. We'll take care of that. But we're going to be on Twitter as well. That'll be a grand total of 8 platforms being streamed on to at the same time. So we have Libby. Hey, Jody. Hey, Michael. Good to see you guys. Thank you all for joining us. And I love it because y'all two are on the StreamYards platform right now. So that's where y'all are seeing us from.
So with that being said, I know today's topic is actually really focusing on building that customer loyalty in a digital world. And when we talk about a digital world, we just mentioned there's 8 different platforms, and it's a variety of hoops that you have to jump to really be able to support these customers. And I will say this: one of the biggest fundamental things I think is important when developing a loyalty group is really focusing on customer service, quick response time. And when I say quick response time, look, everybody gets busy, but at least have some sort of an expectation that you provide your customers. So for us, we usually ask for 24 hours from the time we receive the message to the time that we actually respond to that. But normally, we'll see it pretty quick, right, Joe?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's usually pretty fast, and I think that's what a lot of people kind of expect nowadays, especially in today's world. It's very much very quick. When it gets into answers as quickly as possible, and you can do a lot. Because look, we understand not everybody here is. You're not going to be paying attention to your website 24/7. Let's be honest. You're going to be doing a lot of other things besides that. And the good news is that you still that doesn't mean you're going to miss any messages that they actually send out there unless you're not setting up things correctly. And I think that's one of the things we love to talk about a bit with people is how do you automate that process? How do you make it to where you're not missing all those messages and you can live your life not having to be tied to your website or chat, you know?
So to add on to that, so about the quick response time. So now that we have email, messaging, all these different platforms, and here's the thing, if you make an account with Twitter, you make an account with Facebook, forgive me, X, right? If you make an account with all these different platforms, you have to be ready to respond to all those different platforms. So this is where automation tools comes in to be able to support that initiative. So keep that in mind. So if you have a Facebook account, you need to manage it, you need to maintain it. And if you can't do it, you need to hire someone to be able to do that for you, because guess what? The worst thing you can do is leave it open. Someone sends a message, you don't respond. Timestamp shows 2-3 days went by, a week went by. It does not look good.
I have a great example for that. Actually, I had this one wonderful place called Elite Dermatology, and they're great, by the way. But what was interesting to me was when I was talking with them about some of this stuff, they had a pretty big issue, and the issue was they had been receiving a whole bunch of questions, on their website, and nobody was answering them. And more importantly, these are people going, "Hey, I'm looking for your services. I'd like to actually, when can I come in? When can I make an appointment?" Or just really trying to ask questions, because the issue really was like, you could make an appointment through their website, but there was no way to actually ask a question before an appointment. It was just like, yeah, come on in, And so they're so used to, the in-person element, I think, and that was what they were tripping up. But what was translating into was people were leaving negative reviews on Facebook and Google because, well, I tried asking questions and nobody responded, so I don't know how the service was. So 1 star, and you might not think that's necessarily fair because they didn't have the service, but I think it is, and I think they realized pretty quick that there was a problem that needed to be addressed, and hence we talked about getting that chat bot on there, that could help answer questions, and more importantly, forward that information to the right people.
It's interesting how you mentioned that, and I think it's also important to mention that if you receive negative feedback, it's very important to be able to respond and say, hey, what can we do to fix that? What can we do to make it better? And here's the other piece. You may not be able to make it better, but I think what's really important as you're providing the service to your customers is that you're showing in good faith you're trying to make it better. And other prospective customers that are looking at those reviews, they're going to say, see, they try to make it better. The customer didn't want to deal with it for whatever reason, that's fine. But at least the owner of the company, or at least whoever is taking care of the service, spent the time to try to make it right. That's what's important.
100%. And I think that really is what it boils down to, is making sure that you're communicating with your clientele. But that's really the whole point of the talk today too, is building customer loyalty. You can't do that unless you actually, interact with them. And how you interact, though, fortunately, is such a there's so many avenues for that for you to go down to be able to do that we're really it's really a privilege to be alive today, considering that there's so many ways to actually make that happen. Whereas before, it was really just in person, on phone, mail. I don't know, take a pick. Hey, although I do kind of wish I never had the benefit of experiencing it, but Telegram sounded really interesting. I wouldn't mind getting a singing Telegram at one point in my life. I wonder if they still offer this.
You want the little Hallmark card where you open it up, it had a little battery, and remember that?
Right.
No, the different one, those the ones where you close them and they don't shut up. Those are the best ones, right? You see those, right? The troll ones where you definitely got to see those. Those are interesting. Those are personalized. That's personalized as well. It's just, personalized support. It's all about that. So it's great that we have some people in here. So Michael, Jody, what are you guys up to right now? Are you guys at work right now, or are y'all just taking a lunch break, a late lunch break, I guess in this case? What are y'all up to?
Super break. That's what I'm taking right now. And
Because
do keep in mind there is a 30-second delay, guys. So that's usually, don't worry. We'll stare at you for 30 seconds before you answer.
while that's going through, of course, it's great. I think you did share this with our network in action. That's where they probably saw the link, right?
Right. I did put it in there. Though Jody did ask me about the time, which means I probably should have put that in there too.
Oh,
But,
that's okay. Yeah, sure. We're going to start doing it. Okay, well, cool. Work break and lunch. Nice. Well, good. So while you're digesting your food, we can talk about more about customer service and building that customer loyalty. So, Jody, I know. So you're in the in the lovely real estate area, and we'll go too deep. But I'm curious. Whenever you're building that loyalty with your customer base, what are some of the things that you do? Is it the awareness piece? Is it educating your customers, especially if they're looking to buy a new home, they're looking to finance it? What are some of the tactics that you use? While that's going on, of course, Michael, even in your piece with the financial sector, I'm assuming you are the same as well. Awareness.
Would love to hear.
Yeah.
He's got something. And definitely one of the things is the changes in mortgage.
It's an interesting topic right now, especially with the points there that's going on. Educating customers. Yeah, creating that awareness. I think that's what really draws people in, is whenever you take the time and, you really provide them not only a response, right, but also giving them information they can use and really personalize, really being able to really connect with them. Especially, that's such an intimate experience, right? I mean, when you're trying to buy a house, if you're a first time home buyer, or maybe you're buying another house, or whatever the case may be, it's a very emotional experience. And really being able to connect at that level with them, really, it's like, keep in touch with past buyers. That's one thing that I can say that every home that I closed on, they never did with me. They never did. Hey, how's the home going? Did it burn down? Are you still there?
Oh no.
What else burned down? Give you the idea.
Well, you would hope somebody would actually they would care, whether or not what you purchased was going. And it's a big investment. It's a huge investment. So it's hopefully a lifelong investment for a lot of people, and it's something that I don't know if it was that much. If I was getting that much money from one single sale, I might actually be like, okay, so because what happens later. And this is something I think is really important for a lot of real estate. People don't usually buy more than one house, in their lifetimes. They usually, and usually something that big, if you treat them right the first time, you spend all this huge, effort. You would think that you would want to get repeat business because, there's only so many people buying a house. And so that is definitely something strange to me. People not wanting to do all that. The birthday calls, that's an interesting thought too. I think, happy birthday, kind of going in and doing that. That's one of the things we love to do also with our clients who have social media with us. We love to try and see if we can get their special holidays in, I should say, and but definitely wishing people happy birthdays. A great way of engagement. One thing I think Sean and I we're interested in talking about too is kind of talking about the way the behaviors and expectations that people have for that being able to provide loyalty to your brand is really just what digital advancements. What's making the change? What is changing in that, especially in y'all's industries, to really make people wonder what's the new expectations they have? It's really a question I guess I have. And what do you think, Sean?
Well, I think part of that question muffled up because I can hear part of the sound. I got the problem with it. Can you repeat that last part again, Joe?
No problem. Really, I'm just trying to say, or what was I saying? Oh yeah, there's a huge difference in expectation, and what are some of the behaviors that people have based off the digital advancements that we've had, what are some of the things that have really changed? And I guess in our industry would be, how we provide services. Like what have we seen that's really changed people's expectations towards, like, how we get their loyalty?
Well, I think I think being pretty resilient, I think being very flexible, and really, look, we're in an area in the industry where we're trying to help other businesses get their word out, get their information out. And I'm going to use whenever Hurricane Beryl came down, when that happened. And we had one customer that was like, look, we need to show our customers that we're here even during the floodings, even during the hurricane. I need you to go ahead and post this information. We want our customers to know that we're here. And during that time, you had lost power. Unfortunately, I didn't lose power, but you did. And because there was a delay in us being able to actually put out that campaign for the customer, there was a little bit of a frustration for the customer on that. But you know what? Talking about it and explaining the situation, it helps. But I think one of the biggest things that you can do is be human, right? But most is be flexible, And here's the other thing. A lot of times I've noticed is we never take the time to really put ourselves in that person's shoes, right? Really look at it from their perspective, Their emergency, I'm not saying that their emergency becomes our emergency, but at the same time, I will sit there and I will sympathize. I will provide some empathy and say, hey, look, I'm gonna think about. I understand you're under stress. What happened to me the other day? I had a customer scream at me because his network went down, right? And I totally understand it, because if his network goes down, he's not able to get his customers. So you kind of have to, work with people, and at the end of the day, try to resolve it and stay calm and patient, right?
Which, of course, I always love to say that is a two-way street. So it's always more appreciative. Right. It's always very appreciative when
right.
You also can show that loyalty and respect, and it's reciprocated in kind. That's the biggest thing, is that communication. So I guess, yeah.
Well, I do want to touch base on one more piece on that. And here's the thing about the loyalty piece. Look, we're all in here to make money. We're all in here because we have a business. We're all here to try and make money. But I will tell you this: I will try to do you right. If I think you're in a bad moment, I'll use another scenario, Joe. Okay, customer had a site online. They were using another company for their website. For whatever reason, went south. Totally got disconnected. They ended up moving with us. They were under the assumption that everything was just going to work magically, and it didn't. So their website's down. They're waiting for us to fix it. How much is it going to cost? Well, at that particular point, how about we focus on getting the issue resolved for you? Now remember, we're small businesses. We're not focused on medium or corporate, right? So we're small businesses. So I think as a community technology partner, we're here to be able to support each other, right? Sometimes it's good to say, you know what, hey, let me help resolve your issue if I can. We can always talk about that at the end. Let's take care of the fire first. What did Jody write? I need more and more people like respond to text. My client's not so good at being consistent checking emails. I'm seeing a turn of people. Yeah, that's right. No, that's absolutely right. I mean, this whole thing with mobile devices and people just getting burnt out, it's a huge issue, but we got to keep trying, right? Go ahead, Joe.
Right. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that's really what I completely agree. One of the things I don't know if I like, one thing that is kind of frustrating is that it is, text is such a difficult thing for a multi-person business to handle too, and that's one of the things, at least if you keep it trapped on your phone, right? And that's one of the things that we've tried to solve as well for a challenge. It's like, man, where is a way for us to still correspond with text, but get everybody on the team on the same page without having to screenshot something and upload it and Oh, she said this, and oh, let's get her on email, instead, because now we can all be a part of the conversation, right? And I think, fortunately, platforms that we utilize, and I know some other people, other platforms that people utilize with their CRMs, they have a messaging solution that they like to point people to, and that's fantastic. But I believe it's more intent on trying to get people trained with maybe directing those text messages into the same place they accept everything. I don't know, like I believe in training your clients just as much as you train yourself. You try to like find the best way to communicate. Not saying that they can't learn new tricks; they certainly can. We all do. But it's like it's always nice to be able to agree on the right mode of communication. But I feel you, Jody. It's rough, man. Sometimes having to deal with text when email is just, I don't know, it's just so much more easy. I can sit in my chair and just I don't have to pull out my phone and start. Okay, here we go. Let's do. What is that? Oh, I'm typing slow. Yeah, no, it's a phone. My fingers don't move as fast that way as they do this way. Oh man. Yeah, anyway. Well, hey, for those just joining us right now, welcome. Sit down, relax. More importantly, who the heck are we, right? That's the real question. And to make it real simple, what I want to do real quick is just play a quick video to show what we are and what we do without having to say it in 30 minutes or less. Let's go ahead and roll that real quick.
Jody has fat fingers.
It's like, I am right there with you. All right, 1 second, guys. Yeah, we make pretty pictures, and we also do some pretty cool stuff with tech.
That's right. That's right.
That's what I hear anyway. I don't know for sure.
For those of you that have tuned in, we are talking about customer loyalty in a digital world. So once again, we've been going over a couple of different topics. We talked about quick response time and really personalizing that support. Hey, Sonny, how's it going? Glad you're here.
Hello.
And the other piece that we talked about was also being able to help resolve issues, efficiently. And Sonny, you're in the photography business, and it's interesting because I'm really interested in knowing whenever you're trying to give exceptional customer service, you go to the client, you take pictures, you do the pictures, you send it to the customer, and they're not happy with the pictures. What do you do? That's the type of things that I'd love to hear.
Then it's fighting words. No, sorry.
That's right.
That's
You
not
took
what I
all
mean.
my pictures, and how does that work? And that's a totally different area. She wrote, "It doesn't
Doesn't.
happen." Oh,
There you
come on.
go.
Okay.
Bam. Doesn't
Oh,
happen.
she just slammed us down. It doesn't happen. Very nice. I love it. Love it. But I guess moving back to that, I guess there's a clear um, understanding, I guess, right, or an expectation. Okay. Seek to
Just
understand
joking.
how we
Yeah.
can fix it. Okay, see, that's the bottom line. Customers got an issue, you try to talk to them and you try to work it out. You try to make it work, it makes sense. It's the ones where you just say, you know what, I don't want to do this. I'm not gonna help you. Have a great day. Those are the companies I don't want to work with. So
Yeah.
totally get it. So that's really on the topic, Joe, on providing customer service. What about loyalty programs? Now, I know this is something that people do differently in different industries, but I'm curious. So for us, we haven't really started going down that pathway because of the amount of custom curated content. Normally, we do discounts depending on the amount of services and really what the customer is getting from us. But as far as rewards, what do you think? I always look at the cookies, like Crave Cookies, one of our
Right.
customers, Crave Cookies, they do a loyalty program where they got the little punch thing, or I think it's through the point of sale machine where, you buy X amount of cookies and then you get a bigger cookie at the end, or, something like that. But what do y'all do? Sonny, do you do a loyalty program for your customers? What do you do?
And while we're waiting on that, definitely love the idea of loyalty programs. But I agree with Sean. It's for us especially, it's not really conducive because usually, people who have that, they want to do it in bulk. And I'll show our clientele what they have. When you see what the Crave Cookies, especially when you see what kind of amazing stuff. I'm gonna show it real quick before we Jody. All right, Jody.
Thanks,
Thanks
Jody.
so
Well,
much for
it's
coming
here, so
by.
you can always view the rest of it later on. So that's the best part about
Yeah,
this. And
it
if,
is
if
on
I'm not
demand.
mistaken, Joe, you're going to be able to cut out different pieces and chapters, right, about these different
That's
areas
correct.
too. Okay,
100%.
cool, awesome.
But
So
Jody,
Cindy
good.
writes,
Thank y'all.
okay, she wrote, I like to reward my repeat clients and the clients who refer me to others by upgrading their services. More images, but I don't have a loyalty program. But I like that. I like that. So you upgrade their services. So it's all about showing the customer that you cared and you witness what they've done and you're trying to reward them.
And let's just say, I completely agree with that. I think providing more value and just like you said, giving back to those who invest with you. Absolutely. I think that's a fantastic outlook to have because it truly is an investment, not just of time, but of your trust and their trust. That is huge. Now, I think you're more likely to get a loyalty program going with points or something to that effect if you're selling amazing, if you forgive the term, food porn like this, specifically um, cookies
Dude, those are some massive cookies, man. I ain't gonna lie.
that are.
I bought a dozen. That was the worst thing that I did. Not that it was bad. It was just, dude, that was a ton of cookies. I brought that home, and my kid looked at me
Yeah,
like, "What did you do?" Yes.
yeah, truly amazing. 10 out of 10 for a lot of these, by the way. So highly recommend these guys, but I think the point is these guys offer fantastic rewards program. You go in and of course they're a franchise, so it's through them, but it's a very powerful tool to get people to return all the time, and get more and more ridiculous amounts of cookies. Get it off the
Right.
screen
So,
before we start at ordering.
it's interesting. So we go from customer service, got your loyalty programs. Now it gets into the one piece that people don't like to talk about, which is that personalized communication, right? And it's really about follow-ups, engagement, targeting emails. And that's where, it's like there's so much stuff to do, not to mention all day-to-day operations. So for us, I mean, we have a couple of different CRMs, and we have been, Joe, I would say we've been pretty pretty quiet when it comes down to actually emailing customers and bombarding them. But what we normally try to do is we will send out text. Like Sunny just got our text. Just send a text out saying, hey, we're doing a webinar, and just to show their engagement. A lot of times I'll text customers just to see how they're doing. I won't necessarily send them an email. And the reason behind that, or at least our tactical approach, is, dude, everybody's getting hammered with emails all day long. I don't need another email. It's just going to go in the inbox, or I'm not going to open it. But we do know that the statistics for actually opening text are much higher. And so what we will do is we have our platform that we use that allows us to be able to quickly send a text message out to our customer, just saying, hey, what's going on? How's business? How's everything going? And from there, we spark that conversation, which can lead to either you coming to a webinar, or lead to you wanting to do a one-on-one with us, or maybe there's something else we can help you with. So for us, that's been really helpful. Now, for the follow-up piece, the great thing about the platform that we use, Joe and I can both see it. So there's a lot of times where Joe will be out, he's in the trenches working, and I'll be doing the customer piece, and then I'll take a break from that, and then he'll flip, and he's like, okay, I want to be human again. Let me talk to people. So he can see the actual transfer going back and forth. So that's really how Joe and I handle this. Joe, what's your take on it, man?
No, I agree. I think it's one of the biggest benefits that I've seen so far from some of the platforms we utilize. I think centralizing your communication is going to, and having everybody be on the same page, it's going to foster quicker turnaround times, and that in turn leads to loyal customers, because they think that, wow, everyone is on the same page, which means they're actually talking about me, or they're communicating with each other about what's my best interest. When they actually put some thought into it, clients are like, wow, these guys are they actually care about me. And that really is the main thing, is in a world right now where you have people who are struggling in one facet of their life or another, especially when it comes to like restaurants. Houston is the largest amount of restaurants, it's inundated with restaurants. I forget the article I read where it flat out just said Houston has more restaurants per, not capita, but per block than most other cities do in their entirety,
Just
city.
keep talking about this, I'm gaining more weight, so just let you know.
Right, so, right. The fact is that when you have a market that's inundated, it's already hard enough to get people to come to your doorstep, right? Well, now you add in the fact that, it's actually more expensive now than ever to purchase food. So you really have to fight for that person's trust to spend money at your location. And that really is one of the bigger reasons. And this is not just in the food industry. This is kind of a nice little testament to all industries, really, is making sure that that when they do spend their money, they're spending it with you and your quality service that you're providing.
Now you hit it around the nail, man. You really did. And I think it's so important. Hey, Thomas, glad you could have joined.
Hey,
so once again, if you're just joining us, we're talking about customer loyalty in a digital world, some of the best tactics. And just to recap what we've talked about, and the best part about these so-called webinars, they're going to be broken up with this great tool that we have, and you're going to be able to go back and hear about the different pieces. We've talked about providing exceptional customer service, talking about quick response time, personalized support, and resolving issues in an effective manner. We went and touched base on loyalty programs. How do you reward customers? Those that have been loyal to you, and you want to keep them happy with you. And of course, right now we're focused on personalized communication. And I was talking about more of the SMS capabilities and how that has done more for us than actually moving forward with emails, because everybody gets emails, right? But text, I don't know something about text. When I get a text, I got to open it, And the best one, my favorite ones, Joe, are the ones where they're spam or they're phishing,
Yes.
The ones from UPS where they write, your package was missed. I've gotten 3 or 4 of those. I look at them like, man, have you done that before?
Oh, 100%. My favorites are the IRS ones that I'm in big trouble because they said so. Right. And
Well,
then
the security
money.
implication, we can certainly talk about the security piece later on. But as far as this, it's about communication, and of course, those are effective ways of being able to engage with your clients. So we've talked about a couple of different tiers, Joe. There are a variety of different platforms. I know, if you have a CRM, every industry has a different niche CRM as well. You might be using HubSpot, Keeps, High Level, Bird Eye. There's just so many of them. Odoo, we use
Voodoo,
Odoo, by the
blah
way,
blah blah.
right?
Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
For
Yeah.
some reason, I want to say Voodoo, but it's Odoo, right? And
Voodoo the hoodoo.
and essentially, a lot of them have the ability where you can add the SMS package to it. Take a look to see if you have it. If you do have it and you're not using it, shame on you. You should be using that. And I know some of y'all that are out there watching this that do have it and you don't use it. And if you have questions on how to use it, that's where we can come in and help you too. So it's not necessarily you having to say, oh, well, Tap Solutions, they're just going to try to sell me another service. That's not the goal. The goal is for us to help you make meaningful decisions using the technology and implementing that, right?
100%. And by the way, we do just like with this here, where we're going to have this content be broken up with everything that we're talking about. We of course do have educational stuff on our YouTube, guys. If you have questions of current clients of ours about any of the aspects that we're even talking about right now, we have put out a video talking a little bit about each of the tools that are available with the platforms you guys have purchased. But that being said, I think what we also want to jump into real quick, since they're looking at the clock and about 41 minutes in, is really the next phase of what can foster this kind of growth and loyalty. And to be honest with you, it's about the content that connects. How do you engage with your clientele? Because here's the thing, we can talk about loyalty programs and all that wonderful stuff, emails, texting, but it's all those things help foster the connection, the engagement. So what are some examples of content that can connect, Sean?
Well, I mean, it depends on the platform. Once again, it could be something tangible. It could be a flyer. It could be a text. It could be an email. It could be an educational piece. It could be that lovely keychain, right? There's many different ways of being able to engage with your customers. Like I said, for us, what's really worked for us is really focusing on using SMS text messaging. For us now, we are now moving into, well, we've had a lot of changes. Like every other business, we've had a lot of changes with both staff and of course some operational pieces. So now we are moving towards doing more of these webinars, and it's really about being able to provide direction and information. Sunny wrote, I have the hop off. Okay, well, yeah, Sunny, it was good talking to you. Good, glad you showed up, and
Hey, Sunny.
we'll reach out to you. But it's really about providing meaningful information to the customer. It really is. And here's the thing. One thing that drives me crazy is whenever people just provide cards, they provide QR codes, they provide things, and there's really nothing behind it. Let me give you an example. So we were at a networking event, Joe, and someone had a business card, and on the back of the business card had a QR code. I flipped it over. And I always love doing this because I really want to know okay, so you had it printed out, you had a QR code made, but what are you doing with it, right? And so I'll flip it over and I'll look at it and I'll click on it and see what it does. And I'll ask them, say, hey, do you follow the traffic? Are you really analyzing the traffic and the engagement piece with this? Are you looking at the data? Do you know how long they're looking at the site? And they just look at me like, am I supposed to do that? The answer is yeah. I mean, that's the whole point. It's part of the reason why you're doing this engagement. If you're, whenever I was in higher education, Joe, and I'll just share this one piece. In higher education, one of the pieces that we focused on was really bringing in students, prospective students, and you can advertise all you want, right? You can advertise, hey, we got these classes, we got this great stuff going on, but what is your intake process? What is your intake process? What is What is your process for being able to get those people through the pipeline? Same thing with your business. What is it you're doing that once you've done the advertisement and you're engaging with them, how do you keep them engaged, right? What are you doing? Thomas, what about you, man? Who else is
Yeah.
here? Oh, there's a couple people in here. What else are you guys doing?
Yeah, let us know in the chat, guys, what you think you guys can do, or what you've been doing for the content that connects with people. I think that for us, though, some examples would be great to talk about are just, really trying to engage people in a way that's educational about what you do, but not preachy. Because the difference is between educational and preachy is that preachy is you're telling people what they need to do, but you're not really telling them why. You're just kind of saying you got to do it. And you might tell them why, but you're going to be like, people are less likely to take what you're saying and really think about it if you're just kind of like forcing it into them, right? You're saying, no, you got to do this. Whereas when you're educating somebody, you're really just putting the information out there. And if they grab onto it, which they probably will, they're going to think of it this way, probably more than likely. They're going to think, well, how can I utilize what you just told me? Like now they're going to instead of just blocking it off, like they would probably do if you were preaching at them, they're going to actually take it in and then maybe not absorb it, but at least interpret it, and now understanding blossoms. But here's the thing. What are you doing to get there, right? All this is very high level generic stuff. Well, one way we've done it in the past, we do with all of our clientele, is social media. Easy way to get people information. How do you get social media? Because that's the thing, right? Everybody always talks about, okay, yeah, you got to make social media content. You got to put it out there, right? Just like this, I'm talking like they talk, right? And then the people show up. Well, that's great, but the content itself, how do you get it, right? Well, there's a lot of tools out there for you to use, and they're easier than ever to use it. Great example, of course, would be, hey man, video content is probably the most fantastical way that you can actually get people's attention. So what do? Well, I'm sure you've got a phone. It could be an iPhone, it could be an Android. There's no really particular difference besides your flavor of OS, right? And they both have, cell phones, or cameras, I should say, right? This is an iPhone, this is an Android. Both got cameras. Guess what? You have a content making machine in your hands. It is ready to roll. But let's say you really, really care about the content that you want to make and you want to do more with it in the future. Small little device like this is going to make sure that happens for you, right? A little video camcorder that's on its own. This right here, and Sean has one as well. We're constantly capturing footage, guys. And even if it doesn't go anywhere, it's captured, it's ready to roll. We're trying to create content that matters to people. And that means not always selling them on things, just providing information. And now I'm about to go into preaching mode, so I'm going to move it over to Sean so he can say what he wants to say.
No, you made a really good point, about this whole piece with being able to educate, your customers. And it really helps with being able to make sure they understand that why you're the subject matter expert in your field, why they should be confident about what the business and services they're doing with you. And of course, I think the most important piece is not only having content, Joe, but being consistent with content. Meaning, if you're going to start doing this, you need to continue doing it and be disciplined to do that. I see a lot of advertising going on for how to form a business. LegalZoom and all these other companies saying, hey,
Right.
Starting your business is so easy. You spend $200-$300, set it up, and then you're an entrepreneur. Now, all of a sudden, it's just going to work. It's going to make sense. And that's not the case. And those of you that are small business owners understand the level of work and time and commitment that you have to put into it. So those of you that are working for corporate America, which Joe and I have done, it's great to be able to sit back, get a paycheck, do your job, make sure you're meeting your KPIs and your deliverables and whatever your boss says. But when you have your own business, you have to put on so many different hats. And I love to use what Joe talks about. If I don't work, I don't eat. That's very true, and that's really true with us. Is if we don't work, we don't eat. Speaking of which, there are tactical approaches that you can take with being able to create content, but get it out there. So what we do with our customers, we say, look, if you want us to do the whole shebang, let's say that you want us to create a video for you, right, Joe? And you record it. You want us to come out, record, do the whole 9 yards, edit, have Joe do his secret sauce, and turn around and give you a finished product. Yeah, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. Sure, you can go to Fiverr. Good luck with that, though. Let me know. But
Yeah.
but what we normally tell our customers to do is you record the content, you provide us the raw data, and let us create the intro, the outro, and do all the cleaning so that you have a finished, polished product, and it didn't break the bank.
And it makes it a lot easier for people to make their own content if they don't have to learn all the tools necessary to have a polished end result. And I think that is where a lot of people get tripped up is, well, I'll put it to you this way. I understand when people don't have time to put up social media stuff when stuff's already made for them, because maybe they don't want to schedule it out and stuff like that. So you just don't feel like they have the time, and that's fair. But you still need to eventually get to the point where you are doing that or having somebody do that. And more importantly, the content itself isn't going to make itself. Because a lot of, like I said earlier, a lot of people just talk about social media like you should post, you should post, you should post. And then when the question comes, well, what are you posting? It's like a big question mark goes over everybody's head, except for the one person in the room who's like, well, I can help you make all that stuff. And then, of course, you start talking about dollar amounts. And so it is about ease of use, and it is about convenience. That is really what a lot of people are getting tripped up on some things. But here's what I will say. All of that stuff, social media and posting, it's all a means to an end. And what is the end result? Well, we're talking about it right now. This is a subject. It's building loyalty. Getting your feedback to the forefront and shaping your services around it. So now, something that we really haven't talked about too much, TAF Solutions, with our clientele is something really interesting. We have altered our services to fit the needs of our clientele ever since we started, and it's ever evolving because the needs, obviously, of our clientele are so different in every industry that they're in, and so. But we do see some running themes, and the services that we provide are catered to those running themes, those very obvious similarities in each industry. And so we don't really see, one of the things that, let me rephrase it this way. One of the things that we really notice with these folks is that a lot of our clients is they face the same challenges that we do. They have to adapt to what their clients are wanting from them and what they expect from them. And so to provide that is not only, good business practice, but it's also fosters loyalty with your clientele. And that's why you want to do social media, not just so people know you and they can think of you later on when they need your service, but also so you can get basically free information of how to better service your clientele. I mean, it really is. You used to have to spend a lot of money, and people still do, to put together research groups and marketing groups to figure out if they like A commercial or B commercial. I mean, it's just
why we write grants, Joe.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much of that, but social media literally hands it to you on a silver platter if you play that game, and you should, because that is how you foster that loyalty.
No, you're absolutely right. So one of the other areas we've been focusing on is really delivering that consistent value, or in this case, being consistent. And sometimes, and we understand Joe and I, we have sync ups on a daily basis, and we talk about, I dropped the ball on this, I dropped the ball on that, I got to pick this up. That's completely normal. But what's not good is when we we discuss it, but we don't execute. We don't do something about that. And how you do that is you have to put together a plan. You have to put together. Maybe you need a support group. Maybe you need a group of people. That's why we joined a lot of variety of different networking groups like Network in Action. You know, hey, shout out to James, by the way. If you're looking for a group, we know some great people you can join, right? But Chamber of Commerce, right? And you got the Regional Full Shirt with Don and his team. And we're very grateful for that group. And it's a matter of building that community or having a community of support, especially for small businesses. And it's very important that you participate. You have to participate. You know, a lot of times, Joe, we've seen where customers will say, you know what, Joe, I just want you to make me a website, make it look pretty, just do it. And then you give it to them and they say, well, that's not what I had envisioned. I didn't say this, but you didn't spend any time giving us any creative direction, right? You didn't tell us you wanted to look like this, feel like this, act like this, do what X, Y, and Z. Or my favorite one is whenever the customer is not giving us their entire attention. You probably have the same thing in your business too. And they come back and they say, well, I don't understand why I'm being charged for this and this. And then I have to explain to them that, hey, you know, email is a separate service than from your web hosting. And so this way of saying it's, you know, you have your electrical bill and you have your water bill, right? It's two different services. I got a lot of people out there saying, well, if you got shared hosting, you know, you pay one bill and it all works together. Yeah, well, we're small business, okay?
Yeah, 100%. And that's it right there. I can only say that when we're talking about all the different technical challenges with folks, especially when it comes to you know, all the nuances of websites and things, you know, really, guys, it's that back and forth. It's just like when I'll put it to you this way with Sonny, for instance. You know, Sonny is a photographer. You know, Sonny cannot predict how you would like your pictures to look at the end of the day. You know, and her goal is not to just do it her way. You know, her goal is to do it so that you like the pictures. You know, it's just like with videos for me. Of any content that we at TAF create that's of a creative nature, we do it because, well, it's got to be your message. It can't be ours. We just help you realize it, you know, because you don't have the skill that we do to craft that. And that is a good thing, because your skill is something that we're going to utilize when we need the services that you provide. And it's just like with some of the people that we work with, you know, behind the scenes that are doing services for us. We're very happy with the services that they provide, and there's no reason for us to you know, they have the same back and forth that we have with our clients, because it's just necessary. And if you're wondering why to do and build this customer loyalty programs, that's really it. Is at the end of the day, we're trying to work together to better each other, and a lot of things in the future going around that we're going to actually, you know, talk about in the future. But today, that goes more into that, I should say, and it's going to help foster loyalty. But that being said, guys, that's pretty much going to be it for us. I know that we only have a couple more minutes left scheduled. In that meantime, definitely feel free to come and talk with us a little bit later. We're definitely going to be back on stream sometime next week, probably early next week. Our website, of course, as you know, is wearetaf.com. We are TAF Solutions, an advertising agency. If you're here, you probably know who we are. And more importantly, if you guys are interested in seeing more about us, feel free to go to our YouTube and get to know us a little better there. And that channel is something I'm actually going to go to. Sean, any closing words you want to talk about before we head on off?
Yeah, I just want to say, look, just continue delivering a consistent value product or service. Have clear communication. Try to be transparent. Look, it's like the mechanic. everybody goes to a mechanic. They don't want to get ripped off. Just here's how much the part cost. Here's how much the labor cost. Here's what I changed. This is the reason why we need to do it. I guarantee you, if you just be straightforward and be real with people, they're going to roll with you. And even if your prices are a little higher, people are going to go with you because you provide that added value. Okay. And speaking of prices, we don't charge an arm and a leg. Give us a call. Let's figure out what you're trying to accomplish. We can certainly take care of your needs. We work with clients that are working in the hundreds of dollars of budgets or in the thousands of dollars of budgets. Okay, so just let us know what you need. No job is too small or too big. One of us will take care of it and be able to support whatever initiatives you have.
Well said. That being said, guys, thanks for joining us today. We're going to close out with one of our videos, the many that we've made for our services. But don't forget, keep an eye out. We're going to be posting up again soon about a new webinar, and we'll have a whole brand new subject to talk about. And one day we'll probably revisit this as well. But definitely when we get even more engagement, guys, it's always going to be better. Feel free to jump in after the fact on all the video on demands, by the way, and leave a comment about the ways that you actually utilize any of the things that we talked about today. In the meantime, guys, hope you'll have a wonderful rest of the day, and goodbye.
So you have a business. You invest your time and money in it because it's important to you. And on opening day, you made sure that your branding was on point, your logo and name on a big bold sign outside, visible from the street, and a big grand opening banner outside to top it all off. You even went online prior to your personal social media accounts and spread the good word months in advance, multiple times even, leading up to the big day. So when you opened your doors and the customers came flooding in and you could barely handle the massive wave that Oh, wait, that didn't happen. So a few customers came in, and maybe the event you told everyone about brought in your friends, family, and curious passerbys at first, but days later, there was only a small trickle. Why might that be? Well, one of the things you could have done is ensure your local SEO is up to snuff. What's local SEO, you ask? Ever go somewhere new and far from home and need a cup of coffee, but have no idea where a local coffee shop might be? Local SEO works with your GPS-enabled phone using your favorite search engine like Google or Bing to pull up a life-giving coffee bean processing factory closest to you. Basically, local SEO is how those search engines and other apps needing to use geolocation know those businesses exist, so they can send you, or in other words, customers to them. Without it, they'd still be stuck where you are, Street View and word of mouth onlyville, relying on luck of the draw to bring customers to your doorstep. And while there is certainly nothing wrong with a great Street View, and especially word of mouth, when you bring local SEO into your arsenal, suddenly all of the world is not just at your fingertips, but you are at your customers' fingertips as well. Didn't get started with local SEO when you opened? Well, TAF Solutions has fantastic news for you. Anytime is a good time to get started with local SEO, no matter how established your business is. It's just another arrow in the quiver of your online digital presence toolkit, necessary for today's modern business of any size or any number of locations. Let TAF Solutions help you become visible to the customers close to you. They want to find you.